What is up, guys? Today I wanted to go over some random theory stuff about base natures of reality and stuff. One of the fun questions that you can ask is what the meaning of life is. And I feel like I have a pretty palpable answer, but it's not exactly, super philosophically sound. And it kind of comes off of an old family saying that I have in my family, where it's kind of like the steps of enjoyment. And this isn't some, as a Christian guy, it isn't some chase the happiness of life kind of a thing, but it kind of is that. It's almost like it's kind of two separate explanations of that linked together. So the steps of enjoyment of something is basically the first step of enjoyment is learning something. So you learn a new thing, you're enjoying it, and then you're doing the thing. You're not doing it with anyone, you're just doing the thing, and then you're enjoying doing the thing, whatever it is. And then the third thing, the final step of enjoyment, is turning it around and teaching someone else whatever that thing was and enjoying that. And that's how you know that you fully enjoyed something. And the saying kind of goes that, it's almost boring to just enjoy the same thing over and over. So you fully enjoyed it, go enjoy something else now, this, that, and the other. So I kind of like the spice of life is the varieties and things like that. All these little sayings and whatnot that ended up, passed down in my family. And ultimately, the way that I think about the meaning of life is that I kind of base it on an old philosophical theory about how we base reality. It's the idea, the basic idea of just to express this, kind of put this out there, that prime meridian question. My idea of it, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, is a big one. One of the big prime meridians, is connections to other people in your life. The reason why is that if you didn't have any connections to people in your life, there would be no justification of any basis of any information that you have for anything. There's this weird philosophical question about if you're in a room alone and, I have a cat, all right, but if you're in a room alone, and there's the Isaac's cat theory, not even, my brain is going everywhere on this one. I just brushing up in memory. But, so the idea is that if you're in a room alone, how could you tell if you're in the room alone? You could ask the question, if I'm in a room, just the being in a space in which you can ask the question, do I exist, gives you the pretense that you're in a space in which you can ask that you exist, and you're a being that can also ask if you exist. So you're two things from the singular question of the idea of do I exist. So to the simple fact of asking if you exist proves that you're both in a space in which you can ask that you exist and you're a being that can ask if you exist. So it's kind of this weird philosophical point where if you were to prove you exist, all you would need to do is ask that you exist to technically prove that you exist. But if you only had you to base that judgment, there's no way to know, because it's basically this giant philosophical black hole that ends with nothing is real. Doesn't work. So it is basically where it ends up if you go down that logical loophole. But ultimately, what I've come to from that idea is the idea that, if you have someone there, you then do have something to base that off of. So if you have another person there asking the same question, do I exist? Now you have two different people in the same space, both able to ask if they exist in a space in which they both know that they can ask if they exist. Therefore, you're good. You know what I mean? So it's this very interesting way to look at one of those prime meridian questions of what is the meaning of life. And my answer is connections to other people. Because without that, you would have no basis for even saying there is a life for there to be a meaning for, or what the meaning would be in context to the life that you're in, because there's nothing else there. It's actually kind of matter of facto. If you think of it logically inside of a singular life process of a person alive doing a thing, it's yeah, you probably should have, have something you're actually doing. And, that funny tidbit of the cycles of enjoyment is almost this funny way of saying, people inside, I'm a Christian man, but people inside of Satanism and certain off branches and this, that, and the other, and philosophical changes they just shouldn't call it Satanism anymore. But that's a whole different topic. Is that chase your pleasures or chase the things that make you happy, but it's what if the thing that makes you happy is morally wrong, this, that, and the other. Well, a whole discussion happens. And And ultimately, the way that my family has passed down a similar idea is the idea of knowing how you've enjoyed something, in those three steps of, learning it, doing it, teaching it, and then that's how you know you should go do something else. And so I hope you guys have enjoyed the video and maybe have, taken that bit of what I believe to be the solution for a prime meridian philosophical question. And hopefully some people can tear that apart or say, hey, maybe this guy's got a little something going on. I was thinking kid, but hey, that was pretty good. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This, that, and the other. It's been your boy Kittens. Peace.